A workaholic is a person who is addicted to work. While the term generally implies that the person enjoys their work, it can also imply that they simply feel compelled to do it. There is no generally accepted medical definition of such a condition, although some forms of stress, impulse control disorder, obsessive-compulsive personality disorder and obsessive-compulsive disorder can be work-related. Workaholism is not the same as working hard. Etymology: the word itself is a portmanteau word composed of work and alcoholic. Initially coined by Dr. Richard I. Evans in 1964, while employed as a consultant at Esso, now ExxonMobil, Dr. Evans was interviewed by Downs Matthews, former editor of Exxon USA, a globally distributed periodical, to discuss the problem of how to handle employees who had a tendency of overworking to the point of becoming less productive. Dr. Evans explained that it was a phenomenon similar to other addictions of excess, such as alcoholism, and made an off-the-cuff comment that perhaps those types of employees should be referred to as workaholics. The term was further disseminated by noted columnist James Kirkpatrick, and appeared again in an interview with Wayne Oates in 1968. The term gained widespread use in the 1990s, as the result of a wave of the self-help movement that centered on addiction, forming an analogy between harmful social behaviors such as overwork and drug addiction, including addiction to alcohol. Details: although the term workaholic usually has a negative connotation, it is sometimes used by people wishing to express their devotion to one's career in positive terms. The work in question is usually associated with a paying job, but it may also refer to independent pursuits such as sports, music and art. A workaholic in the negative sense is popularly characterized by neglect of family and other social relations. Similarly, people considered to be workaholics tend to lose track of time, voluntarily or involuntarily. For example, subjects might proclaim that they will spend a certain amount of time on their work, while those 30 minutes ultimately become hours. Experts say the incessant work-related activity masks anxiety, low self-esteem, and intimacy problems. And as with addictions to alcohol, drugs or gambling, workaholics' denial and destructive behavior will persist despite feedback from loved ones or danger signs such as deteriorating relationships. Poor health is another warning sign. Because there's less of a social stigma attached to workaholism than to other addictions, health symptoms can easily go undiagnosed or unrecognized, say researchers. Clinical researcher Professor Brian Robinson identifies two axes for workaholics: work initiation and work completion. He associates the behavior of procrastination with both savoring workaholics, and attention deficit workaholics, in contrast to bulimic, and relentless workaholics, both of whom have high work completion. Workaholism in Japan is considered a serious social problem leading to early death, often on the job, a phenomenon dubbed karashi. Overwork was popularly blamed for the fatal stroke of Prime Minister of Japan Kizo Obuchi, in the year 2000. In the US and Canada, workaholism remains what it's always been, the so-called respectable addiction that's dangerous as any other. Workaholism is an addiction, an obsessive-compulsive disorder, and it's not the same as working hard. Workaholics' obsession with work is all-occupying, which prevents workaholics from maintaining healthy relationships, outside interests, or even take measures to protect their health. Workaholics feel the urge of being busy all the time, to the point that they often perform tasks that aren't required or necessary for project completion. As a result, they tend to be inefficient workers, since they focus on being busy, instead of focusing on being productive. In addition, workaholics tend to be less effective than other workers because they have difficulty working as part of a team, trouble delegating or entrusting co-workers, or organizational problems due to taking on too much work at once. Furthermore, workaholics often suffer sleep deprivation, which results in impaired brain and cognitive function. As with other psychological addictions, workaholics often cannot see that they have a problem. Confronting the workaholic will generally be met with denial. Co-workers, family members and friends may need to engage in some type of an intervention to communicate the effects of the workaholic unregistered trademark behavior on them. Indeed, mental treatment to cure a workaholic can successfully reduce the hours spent on the job, while increasing the person's productivity. Studies show that fully recovered former workaholics can accomplish in 50 hours what they previously couldn't do in 80. Adrenaline addiction. Most workaholics are addicted to the adrenaline their body produces. The workaholic's body produces adrenaline as a result of a consistently heightened level of stress, and those who are addicted to work are in fact experiencing some level of substance addiction. The adrenaline addiction of the workaholic is a shared characteristic with other behavioral addictions, including gambling addiction, and video game addiction. See also, downshifting, money-rich, time-poor, presenteeism, work-life balance, workplace stress, related, internet addiction disorder, power harassment, Protestant work ethic, superwoman, work aversion, Workaholics Anonymous, references. External links, The Economics of Workaholism.